sponsored by Burger King. Lonzo Ball and the Pelicans began their season in Toronto taking on the reigning champs. Through 3 quarters, the Pelicans trailed by 2 points, and Lonzo had played the 3rd most minutes on the team. But head coach Alvin Gentry benched Lonzo for the entire 4th quarter, along with starter Derek Favors. Ultimately, the Pelicans would lose by 8 in overtime. Lonzo played 3.5 of the 5 minutes in OT. And Skip, I want to know, what do you make of Alvin Gentry benching Lonzo in the 4th?
Look, I was pleasantly surprised by how well Lonzo started the game right out of the box last night, because he came out with conviction and supreme confidence and actually played very well against the defending champs in Toronto on TNT.
Okay.
But then I was unpleasantly shocked by what Alvin Gentry did to Lonzo Ball with 6:29 left in the 3rd quarter, as Jenny points out.
Yeah.
He benched him.
Yep.
Not just for the rest of the 3rd quarter, for the rest of the game regulation. All of the rest of the 3rd quarter and all of the 4th quarter, Lonzo had to sit. Lonzo did not look happy to me on the bench, because he should not have looked happy, because Alvin Gentry, and I'm a fan of Alvin's, I've known him forever, but Alvin Gentry did to Lonzo what Luke Walton often did. Lonzo got Luke Walton again last night. What would Luke do through the first couple of years in L.A.? He would play him for a stretch, and then he would bench him bizarrely for a long stretch.
Yep.
And that set off LeVar Ball, who quickly called for Luke's job, that he wanted him fired, and claimed that Luke had, he sat right here and said it, Luke had lost the team starting with these bizarre benchings of Lonzo Ball. So what really disturbed me about this was that Lonzo did play so well that he didn't deserve to be benched. Can we see the first 3 that he took and made? This is early in the game. He just comes straight down the floor and he pulls up deep 3. Watch this. And rips it. And that looked like a new guy. And then he pulls off this inside-out pass that is rare.
That was a great
gifted,
pass.
and it was something. It was, there's the shot. Whew. Here's the pass. Inside out. Whew. There just not many. LeBron could probably pull that off, but there aren't many who in the history of this league could pull off that little inside-out wristy, bend pass. And so he's playing well. He gets benched, and I realized that Alvin was trying to ride a hot, weird lineup that he found, featuring Frank Jackson and Josh Hart in the backcourt with Drew Holiday. But then double weird was, we go all the way through regulation, they're tied, and he sends the starting 5 back onto the floor, and Lonzo's like doing jumping jacks on the court to try to warm up. When he got the tip in overtime, he's hopping up the court like trying to get his legs back in motion, because he needed to stretch again.
Right.
You needed another pregame warm-up, right?
Or go get on the bike or something.
Go something, because that's just flat out unfair.
Yeah.
What is Alvin thinking? And I didn't see any quotes from him. Maybe we'll have some today. I'm not sure he was even asked about it after the game. But all I know is this was an opening night bad sign for Lonzo Ball in New Orleans, and I don't get it.
Skip, I can't disagree with you, because when I'm watching, I was like, okay, he went to the bench. He's going to take his rest.
Sure.
He's going to come back in the 3rd quarter. That's what the 4th quarter. Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, okay, normal, okay,
Yeah.
I didn't think anything about it.
Right.
Lonzo's going to come back at the start of the 4th quarter. He's going to finish this game out.
All right.
Okay.
He doesn't come out and say, well, maybe he's getting them extended rest. And here we are at 6 minutes, and he's still not back in the ball game. So now I'm starting to think, is he hurt? I mean, I did too.
I thought, is he ill?
So,
and maybe we'll find out today he was under the weather, but I don't know that.
So at this point, Skip, at 6 minutes, I cut the volume on. So I want to hear if he's hurt or not, because I'm not listening to the volume. I said, well, maybe this ain't it. So still, nothing. Skip, this is not a good sign, because it tells me is that they're viewing Lonzo as someone they don't have to have on the floor late in the ball game.
Yeah, because if you're the leader and the new point guard, you have to put him back in the game midway 4th quarter, right?
Yes, and Skip, remember, he was one of the linchpin pieces that they wanted.
What we read.
For Anthony Davis.
Okay.
So for me, I'm like, and you mentioned it, we saw this from Luke Walton. And you're right, LeVar was up in arms. Like, I mean, the guy plays great. and you bench him for basically. He was basically benched for 30 minutes of real time.
Yeah.
And I don't know what, I mean, just sitting down,
Yeah,
I don't.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And I know the Laker game started, so a lot of people lost touch with what was really happening.
Right.
But this happened.
Skip, and I get it, he came out and hit those 2 shots, and he can be a liability shooting the ball in the fourth quarter. Here's a guy.
But he even made his 2 free throws he took, and that was a real liability.
Right. But this is not, I agree with you, Skip. This is not a good sign. The very first game, I can see over the stretch of, say, 10, 15, 20 games, Skip, he's not giving you the production that you thought he would give you late in the ball game. He's missing shots. He's not aggressive, not going to, because he doesn't want to get fouled or shoot free throws. Okay, then he becomes unplayable. But the first game, this is his first game.
Really?
And you take this.
Huh. And was it a high turnover game by Lonzo? No, he had one.
But he had 5 assists. So
he was playing pretty well. I don't get it.
I don't get this move either.
And I respect Frank Jackson. He's a nice player, but he's just a backup.
Right.
And you could ride the hot hand for a little while in the fourth quarter, but the whole way?
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised they rode Josh Hart. I mean, he played unbelievable.
And he did.
15 points, 10.
He did.
But Skip, that's him. Josh Hart's going to play. He's going to play
Love
hard.
him.
He's going to play defense.
Got
He's going to hit
guts,
big shots. Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised. I'm surprised that the first game of the season, they did this to Lonzo. And I don't think he deserved, I'm not, I think you think he was transcendent. I think he was a good player, but I don't think he deserved this. Not the first game of the season. Like I said, you're 20 games, 30 games into the season.
Yeah.
He's not hitting shots in the fourth quarter, Skip. He's not aggressive because he doesn't want to get fouled.
Okay, got it.
I get that.
Got it.
But not the first game.
Not the first game, and not off playing pretty well. In fact, I'm going to go to very well.
Yes.
And what I hate the most about this, my biggest takeaway is, obviously, as a Laker, Lonzo was often hurt, too often hurt.
Yes.
Was it wearing big baller brand shoes that were exploding and he'd have to put on a new pair each quarter, he said? Maybe. But what else got hurt? What got damaged the most? His pride, his confidence. They got wrecked by Luke Walton and just the whole circumstance. And Magic said one day that number 2 is going to hang up in the rafters, right?
Yeah.
And it hurt this kid's confidence. His father painted the biggest target on his back any kid's ever had painted on his back. And I'm thinking, new start, change of scenery, New Orleans. I was hoping to see Zion and Lonzo on the break, but we didn't get to see that yet. And what happens? Right out of the box, his confidence gets dented again. I'm not sure it got wrecked, but it can't help his confidence.
No, this is not a good sign.
Okay, so now he comes out the next game, and I'm sure he'll start the next game, and you don't think he's going to be looking over his shoulder at his coach? And it starts making it harder when you go up that supremely confident new stroke that's more on the right side of your face. Well, the next game, he'll go up for the first shot thinking, what if I miss this?
Right.
So
and that's what's in the back of his mind because he's been 2 locations, Skip. And we see a reoccurring theme. Now, the coach has changed. Supposedly his situation has changed.
Well, I'm going to have to read into it that through the preseason, there's some clash going on with him and Alvin. Like Alvin's saying, I got to teach the kid more of a new lesson here. Like maybe he thinks he's got too much spoiled brat in him.
More to it. Yeah.
Well, this is not a good look. This is not I'm sure this is not the foot Lonzo wanted to get off on.
I'd say no.
I mean, you're the starting point guard, and you don't play for basically 18, 19 minutes from midway through the third all the way through you don't get into the game until OT?
Yep. I'm hoping we hear today he had a stomach bug, but I don't think we'll hear that because he did put him right back out there for the overtime, which I thought was double unfair.
Yeah. Now go get it done.
Now do it.
Yeah,
and by the way, he and the whole team just did nothing in overtime.
Overtime
was... But Skip, they still... I mean, ride the hot hand, ride the horse that you've been riding for the last 15 years.
If you're going to do that, just let them play.
At that point. So next up for the Pelicans, they are home. It's their home opener Friday against the Mavs. So we'll be watching that one closely to see what plays out. The other game last night, Kawhi and the Clippers. What a